Right, Yasain Ababiem, another game, another night. Chelsea and a successful win. I mean, obviously, game and him said Chelsea Beshe and the other things that we wanted to talk about. Of course, Ariano, Yentian for analysis now, bro, because obviously, now him said match Chelsea boy, we'll bring you the post match analysis now. Oh, I see on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Of course, the first time about see. Thank you very much for joining us. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. No, not in the subscription. No, make sure to choose all. Now make sure say we choose all. Send about anytime your content about drop piano. We are first to have it. Over here, we give you the best in terms of analysis, back to back, constant. And here, bro, on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. In fact, in the morning, in the afternoon, however, what happened was this video.
Player from the academy to the first team. Okay, it's important first of all to give them a warm welcome. Also, it's important from all of you to let them understand that they are not to take this for granted. When you join first team change room, first of all you have to defend that. So it's up to you. The rest to allow, please, Josh, come here, Ty, come here, both of you, please. From all of you, that you help them to understand that, as I said, it's not granted when you graduate from academy, but the most important thing, especially the ones that you also graduate from the academy, that you convince them that they have to defend that. And defend that means every day work in the right way. If they don't work in the right way, it's up to the senior player, the one that you graduate from the academy, to convince them that it's not the right thing to do, they have to work better. So these kind of things, personally, I think to create the right culture, it's important. So welcome both of you.
Yeah, after that video, which is the video I made, it was really heartwarming to me. The fact that two British-born Ghanaian players, Tariq George and our brand friend Joshua Kofi Echampon, were inaugurated and officially promoted into the Chelsea first team by coach friend Enzo Maresca. Now, I mean, behind Enzo Maresca Casano, you could see Chelsea sporting directors, Paul Winstanley, any Abrantia, your friend Stewart, Janechi supporting him. Now the plan is that although club and say Omaton setting players on the academy signing, they want to give a direct pass to the players. Says all performing you are going to have a part to play. And you listen to Enzo Maresca and he talks about culture. No catcher, especially boys now. Almost free Chelsea academy in back. They said it's a chance for them to make sure these players what it means to play for Chelsea, what it means to don the jersey of Chelsea, what it means to be real Chelsea players. Now it means they will have to work hard. No man work harder. The senior players will have to remind them what it means to be a Chelsea player. And for me, I was marveled. And this is the reason why Enzo Maresca gets a lot of credit. So Joshua Kofi Echampon before game against Shamrock Rovers, they were promoted to the first team, and obviously, a set of game where you give them a lot of credit for what they have done. Of course, Enzo Maresca did mention just before that we're set and said we're going to start against Shamrock Rovers, and he made sure players be said Reece James, some almost senior team, and then will push them to make sure they also play consistently. He was speaking directly to Reece James because it looks as you say he's the main guy. Our senior team of the academy in recent times to make sure they do their stuff very well. So Joshua Kofi Echampon is in there going to get some good minutes. Of course, Tariq George, I think that the most complete of the lot, a bunch of friend Joshua Kofi Echampon. Tariq George, I think he has a long way to go. But right after that, the game versus Shamrock Rovers that start here, Dean come up. So Shamrock Rovers won any team up. Except who more money disrespect any buyer job because coming into side game against Chelsea, no more conceded 4 goals, but meaning say just in the first half they considered the same number of goals they might concede in 5 games, because obviously they are not met a team the quality of Chelsea Football Club, given how Chelsea have been playing, even with our second team, quote and unquote, in the Conference League. So it was always going to be difficult for Shamrock Rovers, but we knew it wasn't going to be straight up and a walk in the park, obviously, for Chelsea, because it wasn't. Of course, so kind of time at Chelsea fell in the first goal, Shamrock for a take kind of there and then it sent some, shockwave around, say, okay, Shamrock for could be up to something. How was it really going to be like? But this is the highlight. Some of the things that caused, especially with Sir Christopher and Kuku Kakobo corner kick. Just watch the highlights now. Yeah, back. Then we'll do the analysis detailed into how Chelsea were able to beat Shamrock Rovers at Stamford Bridge to be unbeaten for the very first time in the club history. 6 games in a European competition. Yeah, so those were some of the highlights of course I gave him of Chelsea versus Shamrock Rovers. In fact, Chelsea went into this game with obviously a team that we expected to start with. It was Joshua Champon, a Brentford friend Axel Desassi, there was Renato Veiga, and a Brentford friend Marco Correa. Now, do not forget, Renato Veiga and Marco Correa are left backs. Now, because of the absence of our branch here, your friend Tosin Adrebiayo, who is going to play over the weekend against Everton, and the fact that Benoit Belachili Epra and a Wesley Fofana so printing Enzo Maresca thought it wise, Nechi Odomno, Obebo Joshua Champon at right back, Axel Desassi as right centre back, and the CCB, say Chelsea Biema, my explaining CCB several times, and obviously a branch friend Renato Veiga as the LCB, then playing a branch friend Marco Correa as the left back. Of course, with the ball, there was a lot of variation, a lot of changes in terms of how our teams never set up, how they were going to play and stuff like that, which is going to be very, very important. And it means that when Chelsea had the ball, Cesare Casadei was in the middle of the park with a branch friend Kanan, Dries B. Hall over there, and a branch friend Christopher and Kuku as the number 10. Of course, on the right hand side, there was Noni Madueke. Left hand side, there was Tyreek George, and a branch your friend Matt Gay. Of course, João Felix started because he has been injured for a couple of days and he just returned. Enzo Maresca wouldn't want to start him. He would not probably have the intensity for somebody of free injury by Seattle. Enzo really wanted to warm him into the game. Like we didn't expect. Me and him said going into this match, Shamrock for were going to come into it and then sit in a mid block. Like we said several times, I'm a 3-back normally Conference League. They've played in all the games in the Conference League together. Nothing has changed for them. Consistently, these are games that they always do play together. And we expected that it was going to be same in tonight's game. So what was going to go on? How was the game going to look like? What's going to be the responses? One of the things that I said several times about Enzo Maresca is the fact that when you look at Enzo Maresca, he is very tactically dynamic. I said, and yes, say a ball Brentford ball 3-back in team. Obviously, yeah, ball against Shamrock Rovers in here. Then it's the same shit, it's the same personnel. No, you tweak a few things based on what's the quality, the quality of what the opponent brings in that game. And also Shamrock for now, they concentrated more in a mid block than a low block. So Chelsea have to do 2 things. One, make sure say in build up, Chelsea will have the back 3, and the back 3 now became Joshua Champon, Axel Desassi as the CCB, then Renato Veiga as the LCB. Then he moved a branch friend Marco Correa, not as a DM inverting next to a branch your friend Cesare Casadei or Cesare Casadei, however you want to pronounce it, in the middle of the pack. But to move Marco Correa into the left half space, send a lot of the underlapping runs for a branch friend Tyreek George, then Tyreek can keep the width. McCann several times said, So we share 3-1-6 now. Even last season, sometimes Mauricio Pochettino used now. It's slightly different here. It's more balanced with this one because last season, now Mauricio Pochettino used overlapping fullbacks. But this time, he uses his wing backs. I mean, Enzo Maresca uses wing backs to keep the width. Senebe will use the number 10s now, or the players who occupy the half space. Usually, it's either the natural number 10s or it is the fullbacks who invert into those areas now to do underlapping runs for him. Now, it helps keep players in close proximity with teams if they want to press, counter press, be aggressive, win the ball in those areas. It's important. And it's one of the reasons I'm a brand here friend Marco Correa being very important to Chelsea this season. And Chelsea are going away at Everton. A lot of the people are worried. Say, how will Chelsea fare going to play against Everton when you have a certain Marco Correa, when you red card on Bobby? Because we all know Correa's counter pressing, aggression, winning of duels. This side, man, helps the team a lot. And in the first half, most especially before he scored his goal in the second half, you could tell, say he's very important. But the general sense is that it's the structure in which Chelsea play that make it possible. Because Sauber with overlapping fullbacks, so you need to get your wingers to do that job. Usually, wingers are not defensively astute. They are not defensively even turned on as much. But Marco Correa was a rest defense mentality. So once the ball breaks, he's able to go in there, be aggressive, win the ball back, turn the possession over. And that means that Chelsea played with a single pivot on the ball. So instead of a 3-2, usually Chelsea inverted fullback next to Casadea. And Cabeye, 3 centre backs, 2 midfielders to receive the ball in the first phase. But because it was only Cesar Casadea, now it was a 3-1 over there. Why was that so? Say at Chelsea being 2 players in a diamond, then they can play around the block because me and Yaja with annotations on the screen, you can see that's exactly what I'm trying to point out to you. So, I mean, Rovers one who commits a lot of numerical superiority into the middle of the park. We have a lot of players on Fiifi-Manfred with a lot of numerical superiority to be aggressive, to pray and win the ball there, to block passing in this animal. So Enzo Maresca said, okay, take that away. What I want, and he said, so what's it deep essentially, guy? Then I'll play around your block. And that's exactly what we're doing with Kenan Dewsbury Hall, usually on the right hand side. I right here, friend, Marco Correa starting from the left hand side of the midfield, then having a right here, friend, Christopher and Kuku at the apex or the tip or of course or the diamond to play around Shamrock Rovers for the press now whilst he was able to keep with. So essentially you are occupying certain spaces, you are pulling them about, and also you are stretching the last line with 2 wingers whose job is stacks. So they should keep the watch strictly, not to come inside, just to leave them 1v1, isolate them, and then try to create chances from wide area. And we know that Abrantia, your friend Noni Madueke was exceptional in that regard. 1v1, playing the ball in that area, holding up the play, being solid. Into Chelsea general play had been established. Now, if you all share the first bare 15 minutes, at Chelsea were up in possession, about 78% of ball possession, and at Chelsea guitar. And another team, your friend Shamrock Rovers for a struggle to get the possession. They were struggling to even get game time. In fact, then Chelsea will press and counter press, and like I told you, I'm using Kenan Dewsbury, using Correa, using a branch of friend Cesare Casadea. It was a very, very good way of playing. For Chelsea being aggressive because the whole ball against team beats Shamrock Rovers. You know that they will help you on the turnover. And now I told you about the Chelsea metrica and let's say for the about Chelsea scored most goals. I mean, against most of their teams from transitions, almost quickly into the channels, quickly in transition. They play very well in that regard. But when you look at them also, while they score a lot of their goals in transition and quicker, they prevent you from hitting them in transitions. And like I said, Chelsea have the tools to be the best transitional team in the league. In fact, I think that in the English Premier League, the best transitional team in terms of counter-attacks at Chelsea. The only difference is the presence of the lack or the absence of a box striker, making Chelsea difficult to be the team that will have the most box presence and easy to break down low blocks, because self-ball against low blocks are sometimes, regardless of the rotations, you need a box presence, you need a big bulky center back in there, center forward, or wait, we need area duels, that shit goes near the other, our boxman. That's something that Chelsea essentially doesn't have in Nicholas Jackson. That's not to say Nicholas Jackson isn't good, but so because of that, Chelsea was able to win duels when you were turning the possession over against them and then be aggressive. And it was very, very clear inside game against team your friend Shamrock Rovers in there. Now, see, I think that one thing that we've seen for a very long time, even from preseason, and with one player, I think that Social gave me a Bonafili Jorgensen, a very calm goalkeeper. you can't even take anything away from him as a person. I said, we being cool, calm, collected, just trying to do no person or in a Juma with Toronto. Joshua Champon, the second time watching him full time. Again, another player who is very quality, who steps into danger, aggressive. I think for his age, or you're very physical, and he's physically built enough for this level of football, the physicality of games. Makacho said, you can't only be balanced technically, you can't only be balanced tactically, you ought to be balanced in all the three phases of the game. You have to be balanced physically, be balanced technically, and then be balanced in terms of the tactical side of the game. And then when you look at somebody like Joshua Chamber, he adds to that physical balance that Chelsea will need in games where you need, physicality and duels in wide areas, at fullback areas, defending far post. He adds that to the team, and you can tell that from how he plays. Obviously, Axel Desasi, captain of the side, you give him a lot of respect. Said, games or boy a conference league, but he has kept his head down. About captain team, or Bonnet Juma come, and then they build up from the back. And funny enough, he had cut several times the job of a CCB. He's supposed to start the play from back. He's supposed to be the good player on the ball. He's supposed to force play, break lines. And I saw Axel Desasi do same. Yes, he's not the level of Levi Cole or even Tosin Adrebiayo. But the calmness to try and do that, especially against a team like Shamrock Rovers in the conference league, which is not the best place that any team is in the English, in the competition in Europe. No, I love it. I love what Abrantia, your friend Axel Desasi, me here, of course, Renato Viega also pressing and counter pressing. Then in the middle of the park, so Abrantia friend Cesare Casadei. I've said this afternoon and I said it again this morning. Said, me too enthused about Abrantia friend Tyree George and the talent and what he can do. I think that one of the things that he can do is to metamorphose into an excellent, efficient winger. Say Onyabo goes, and he goes and assists. I don't think that he's aesthetically that pleasing, but for me, I've said it several times here. Say players don't particularly have to be aesthetically pleasing to be important in games. They don't have to be aesthetically pleasing. They have to be efficient sometimes. And if Tyree George can go and metamorphose into a player like that, a bit one of on a career and him. But for me, one of the most important players in there, and I'll show you all of the goals that he scored and why he stopped El Branch friend and Mark Gill. See, I saw it in preseason. Player, the intuition levels, I was sure. The pressing ability, the fact that it's very incessant, Onjai, consistently, a branch friend and Mark Gill wants to press and counter press, and then his reading of the game always switched on. The anticipation as a striker, especially for that second goal. Just when the ball was about to be played back from the Shamrock Rovers centre back, he was on his bike. Knew say he can pounce on that ball, cuts the ball out and then slot it in. Again, I said that the goal was made by the pressing scheme of Chelsea, the counter pressing ability of the whole team, of course led by Marco Correa, but in anticipation of McGee. And make us a McGee and the Spanish Luis Suarez. First goal not yet the channel, but the fact that he was able to pounce on it and get a goal was important. Again, so when he was going to attack the Boniti ball post, but he stood up to celebrate his goal as if nothing had happened. Then the second one from Abrantia, your friend, Marco Correa, playing it into the part of pressing and enforcing Shamrock Rovers for to play a back pass. Then McGee went in there and then pounced on it. For me, that's another sign of a very, very, very good player for the age. Excellent goal by the second one. In fact, by the time Chelsea first one, Shamrock for Natekano. So there's a little bit of a worry. Say, how can Chelsea really come back? Because the clean sheet, obviously, in a game like this was important. Of course, Jorgensen would have wanted it. The centre backs would have wanted it. But Edu Rebia, you don't particularly get, all the things that you want. So you have to make do. And that's what they did. They had to go on into the game and then try and get the goals. Obviously, so our third goal did come from a very good through ball from Marco Correa in the half space again. And I've said it several times here. Correa is flamboyant. And I think that by now everybody knows. Onye, the most aesthetically pleasing player. I'm talking about aesthetically pleasing players. But very efficient, very effective in pressing and counter pressing with the ball, without the ball. And I think one of the things that Marco Correa has added is that he's also direct with say, when enable as a winger, and when he say winger, and overlap run and quickly run ball out into his part. And that's what he also wants us all. So you're on the lap run up, so ball on the tuning. Send the ball back, back, and also ball across the face of goal. And that's something that sets him apart. Which is our goal, Kenyan Drisby or let's share now. Correa got the ball in the half space, saw the run of our branch friend Christopher Nkuku, played it into the part of Nkuku. Nkuku, very good first touch, controlled the ball, was waiting for the option to try and shoot at goal. And a defender not winning the ball off him. Then it fell to a branch your friend Mark Gill, Kenan Drisby, and what a strike. I mean, very good ball striking ability into the back of the net, making it, 3-1 for Chelsea at that point in time. Then from there, it was just Chelsea having possession, playing out from the back, recycling play, taking the ball out, right, trying to kill off the game in the first half. And like I said before, Samachi, now Shamrock Rovers when I conceded 4 goals in 5 games in the Conference League. So they hardly ever conceded. They had a very resolute back three. Almost home and away, almost a stubborn team. Untini Enkasa Obeko Shamrock Rovers when I could cheer for Mosusa. And an easy game for you to play. But they came into this game, and by the time I knew about the 48th, 45th minute on them, Noni Madueke from the right half space. Obeka over the weekend against Brentford. I told you about the half space crosses. Chelsea has started on here consistently as part of the chance creation. So some call byline there, then the attackers should attack the far post. The wingers should attack the far post. Opposing winger, no, I mean. But the boy in the half space there, they should be in the 16-yard boxing area more to try and hedge the opponent. And that's exactly what Chelsea, a branch here friend Noni Madueke a clippy ball, and then found a branch here, your friend Maguire again for the young 18-year-old former Brazilian, former Barcelona center forward now to score his 3rd goal of the season. The hat-trick, the first hat-trick for Chelsea, first of the season, and then 6 goals in the Champions League, or the leading goal scorer in our Conference League, and then what a feat it is. So we free La Masia and him from Barcelona come to team a friend at Chelsea. One in the first team almost every time Conference League now, and in Conference League now, the highest goal scorer. I think that there is a lot of credit to our branch here friend Maguire, and people have to give him a lot of respect for that. Winning, goal and what he gives to the team. And of course, if you look at the issues are surrounding the moving to Chelsea, how Anabasa and Peso cannot take a chance now by. I think that he has been spot on. Obviously, taking his chances and then getting the goals over there. In the first game at Stamford Bridge, when he had good chances for Messi, this one, he decided not to miss them. He went with it, got a job done, and then scored 3 goals in the first half for Chelsea Football Club. I still think, for a player of the caliber of Maguire, it's important for him to go back on loan. I think, Chelsea man, I'm going to friend Maguire go on loan next summer. Senegal, he will get a championship side where he will play consistently. Even if it is in the Premier League, I'll match consistently. I don't think there's a Premier League team, Obama Maguire and the number 1 center forward. Sorry, unless the main center forward, Nepra. But I think that Maguire at least championship, no show to me, not all games consistently, or matches small, or you're exposed. And I think that's what he needs at this point in time, because all the times he has come on to play in the Conference League, you can tell him, or you're a top player, or born a ball, he's able to impose himself, he's able to press, he anticipates even better as a player. So I think that's going to really, really help him over there as a player, as a player of his caliber in terms of Maguire and how good he is. And I love it for Abrentia friend of Maguire. Of course, in the second half, Marco Correa, the other Spaniard, did come in and also gets the goal. And with everything that's going on around him, I think that Correa deserves a goal. Getting a goal against Brentford and getting another goal, in the Conference League against Tima, your friend of Shamrock Rovers. It meant that for the very first time at Chelsea Yabo in a European competition, Omakomu, 6 games in a row. Chelsea unbeaten. Chelsea will be out. And they've had the best goal difference. Not the best defense in the Conference League, but in the best attack, obviously. Playing some good stuff, and all of the players that deserve all of the credit for Juma Omeya and, of course, for Enzo Maresca to be able to get a team that plays like this. Of course, that was the pre-match, post-match analysis, Chelsea match with team your friend Shamrock Rovers. I will be back in the morning, tell you about everything that happened that you didn't see. I Fiifi-Manfred from YouTube. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.